Okay, so this is my lesson plan for the first week. I'm gonna explain place value. They already took it before in grade 2, so this is the second year to take it, it's not the first time.
Okay.
So at the standards, I'm gonna use this model with mathematics and use appropriate tools strategically because they're gonna use the tools, the manipulatives, the place value chart.
Okay. Are they going to be using technology?
Yes, I'm gonna use IXL most of the time, and I'm gonna make the place value charts on Google Documents so they can
Okay.
use it.
Very nice. English standards?
I'm gonna use the ask and answer questions to demonstrate understanding of a text because they're gonna take in new vocabulary words, so I'm gonna discuss it with them, and I wanna make sure that they understand it.
How are you going to ask them? Have them answer you?
I'm gonna introduce the words on the word wall and
Okay.
introduce their meanings. They ask and answer questions during the lesson.
Okay. Okay.
This is my unit goal. It will be about, this chapter is about counting and comparing numbers to 10,000. Last year they took it until 1,000.
Okay.
So this year is the second part. They are getting more place value. They're gonna count and compare it with objects inside the class
Okay.
and differentiate between numbers by comparing them. So they're gonna know which is greater and which is smaller. This is for the whole unit.
Okay. So they already know how to use the place value in standard expanded form and word form, but in thousands.
Yes.
Okay. So they have prior knowledge. Okay, interesting. Go ahead.
So what do you think about the objectives?
Are they achievable by the end of the lesson? Is this a lesson for a week or for a day?
No, just for a day.
For the day?
But it's a block. So
Okay.
I depended on they already took it in last year.
But they have prior knowledge.
Yes.
Okay, that's very nice. And that you're going to use real life examples that will stick with them.
Exactly.
Okay, that's very interesting. Go ahead.
For the differentiation, I'm gonna use for the ELL students.
Mhm.
I will try to use more visuals, and I'm gonna print the words on the word wall as I told you. And I'm gonna try to use connections between the words and the real life.
Okay. Have you ever tried using their whiteboards in class?
No, but I'm going
The
to
answer?
Yes, I'm gonna try to use it.
Okay.
I still have new students, so I wasn't sure, so I did differentiation for ADHD and special education, but I'm still not gonna know more about my students.
Okay.
So for the ADHD, the formative assessment will be differentiated. I'm gonna make another formative assessment,
Okay.
and I will make them move during the activity time.
They'll pass out manipulatives and such.
Exactly.
Very nice. Okay, that's good.
For the special education, I'm gonna use the manipulative. This is the main thing that I'm gonna use, the manipulatives, as they're gonna use it for doing the place value.
Mm-hmm.
And if I need it, I'm gonna use the assistive technology as text to speech.
Perfect. That is great. Okay, that really helps, huh?
As a formative assessment, I'm gonna use the roll and show. It's activity I'm gonna do it. I didn't find the dice for the 10-sided, so I'm gonna use it as an electronic application I found.
Is this a whole group activity
Yes,
or?
I'm gonna
Okay.
divide the class into groups and try to do it.
Okay.
And I'm gonna have it differentiated for the advanced one. They're gonna do more than just the place value. They're gonna do it as an expanded form and as a word form.
Okay, very nice.
Okay.
Okay, they're going to be using manipulatives here and
Yes.
design. Okay, very nice.
I'm gonna do the guided practice as we go during the lesson,
Mhm.
and the exit ticket at the end of the lesson.
Okay. What's their exit ticket?
I'm gonna let them use IXL
Okay.
because if I find some of them lacking the prior knowledge, I'm gonna assign them tasks that belong to this. And when they reach the 60%, that's their exit.
Okay, perfect.
There won't be any summative assessment because this is the second lesson in the chapter.
Okay.
What do you think of the discussion questions? I usually circulate during the while they're doing the dependent work. I circulate. So that's how I'm gonna do the questions.
This is the part I suggest you use the whiteboards. Have the students stick up their whiteboards just so you're not missing anyone. You make sure that everyone knows their answers.
Okay, this is a great idea.
Check IXL. This is at the end of the lesson, the IXL
Yes.
part. Thumbs up if you understand. Thumbs up. Okay.
This is just a quick thing.
But you're also gonna have the results on IXL, so you'll know everything that
Yes.
you need to know.
And I'm
Okay.
gonna add the part of the whiteboard.
Perfect. Okay. Sounds great.
The big idea for this lesson is reading and writing numbers till 10,000. As I told you, they took it last year till 1,000, so this year they're just doing it till 10,000. The discussion I'm going to do at the beginning of the lesson is that I'm going to revise last year. They took it until 100, so this year the first part I'm going to do is that I'm going to make sure that they know it. The expanded form until 100.
So you're gonna ask a question at the beginning of the lesson that you expect them to know the answer of
Yes.
at the end of the lesson.
And to
Okay.
know who's lacking the prior knowledge.
Okay.
During and at the end of the lesson, there is a part that most of them are confused in the value of the digit and the place value of the digit. So this part, during and at the end of the lesson, I'm gonna make sure that they got it.
So this will be along your word wall, okay, very nice.
Okay. If I use the virtual class, I'm gonna try to make them use Flipgrid. It's an app tool that we use it. We used it this year.
Okay.
It's really
It's like a grid paper.
no. They just do a video
Okay.
to discuss something. So
Okay.
they discuss, for example, a number. They discuss it in expanded form and the word form, and they reply to each other.
Very nice. Okay.
So this is if it was a virtual class. These are my 21st century skills.
Okay. This is stuff you incorporate into your lesson.
Yes, the communication collaboration during the activity and the technology. Most of the time I'm using IXL.
Okay.
For the literacy skills for this lesson, I'm gonna ask and answer questions to demonstrate their understanding. This is what I use most of the, this is one of my strategies. I always ask questions to know if they understood or not, different questions. And I'm gonna try to reinforce the vocabulary words that they just knew. Like as I
Are
told
you gonna
you-
assign homework for them to actually like memorize these words and what they mean, or how are you gonna do it?
No, I'm gonna use the word one more most of the time. So they're gonna have the words with their meanings, so they can always see it.
Okay, very nice.
Okay, the lesson. I'm gonna start with a warm-up video for place value. It's really nice, and they took it last year, so they know it.
It's a song? Okay.
Yes, it's a song for
Nice.
place value.
Okay.
I'm gonna explain the first part for standard form, word form, expanded form.
Okay.
I'm just adding the 1,000 part they took last year until 100, so this is just a small part that I'm adding. And then I'm gonna let them practice on IXL.
So you're gonna model it for them first on the
Yes.
board, and then you're gonna have them practice on IXL. Okay, very nice.
And the guided practice in the book. So the guided practice in the book, we're gonna do it together, so I'm gonna make sure that they
So they finish IXL, they start their guided practice.
Yes.
Okay, very nice.
and then the activity.
Rounding distances, where?
This one was for the dice. Okay, and then I'm gonna have
This is depending on their small group,
yes.
right? Okay.
I'm gonna show them the place value chart on the wall and try to model it one more time for the expanded form, because most of the time they got confused with the expanded form.
Okay.
Okay.
Will they have a place value chart in front
Yes.
of them in groups? Okay, that's
Yes,
very nice.
I'm gonna make one for each group.
Okay.
So And then the exit ticket will be IXL with 60%.
Okay. And when they go home, are you gonna give them?
Yes, I'm gonna, according to the exit ticket, I'm gonna assign on IXL tasks.
That's very nice.
As a review, I'm gonna use the IXL to give feedback. IXL is amazing for, it gives instant analysis for the students. And the activity, I'm gonna revise the activity and know which part that they didn't get. If I have to reteach it next lesson. For the weak students, I'm gonna use the reteach worksheets from the book. And for the advanced one, I'm gonna use the extra practice worksheets. They give them harder questions.
That's very nice.
That's it.
Okay, that's great. So you can also post your video on Google Classroom for them to go review it, and the words for them. The words that you're gonna put up on Word
Yes.
on the word wall. You can also put it up for them, so
Okay.
it doesn't so it sticks with them.
Okay.
I think this is gonna be a great lesson. Are you actually gonna do this lesson in class next week? I'd love to come visit.